Hello everybody and welcome to the ESI Digest, where we run through the biggest esports business related news stories of the week. I'm your host Tom Daniels, the sub-editor of Esports Insider, and before we go into the news, I do want to shout out our partners for this episode, data platform GRID Esports. So if you do want to check out their data services, head over to their website. Now we have 5 huge news stories to be talking about, and we probably could have talked about more with how much has been going on in the esports world, this week. So we're going to be talking about Dignitas announcing an LCS naming rights deal with QuantumPay, VALORANT Mobile being announced by Riot Games, Mason Mount being appointed Combat Gaming's brand ambassador, Team Liquid and Alienware launching good in-gaming platform and the details behind that. And finally, we're going to be talking about VSPN announcing a multi-million funding round. So let's get into it. So let's talk about our first news story, and it is that North American esports organization Dignitas has announced a naming rights partnership with digital bank QuantumPay. Now, as a result of the 4-year deal, Dignitas' League of Legends Championship LCS team will be named Dignitas QuantumPay. Moreover, I believe that their academy team will also be renamed, and they will become Dig Quantum Academy. Now, this is the first naming rights partnership for an LCS team since the competition was franchised in 2018. Obviously, other examples off the top of my head was like TSM Snapdragons, and I do think that this is a significant deal. It doesn't just include naming rights. Obviously, if you could see from the jersey which they released, they have prominent branding on the LCS jerseys as well, and then I believe that also their LCS and Academy team athletes will be doing a lot of collaborations and a lot of activations around QuantumPay as well. Now, personally, from a financial side, I can understand why this partnership has taken place. I do feel like the name will get a little bit getting used to with the the lettering of actually the branding with it being QuantumPay. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the general NRG with what NRG Esports did with their Rocket League side. So I think the name will get a little bit getting used to, but I think it is indicative that we are seeing more and more of these naming partnerships being embedded into esports. Now, our second story sees Riot Games announce that Valorant, its first-person shooter game, will be getting a mobile variant. Now, Valorant Mobile was revealed exactly 1 year after the title was officially launched on PC on June 2nd. However, information regarding the release date of Valorant Mobile has not been announced. Now, while details of this announcement have been very short, it was very much kind of just thrown into a PR about how well Valorant has been doing from an esports perspective. Obviously, they just come off a very successful VCT Masters LAN tournament, which I think garnered over 1 million peak viewers according to esports charts. And I do think that this is indicative of how a lot of publishers are taking their PC titles. We've seen it now with Rocket League potentially having like a Rocket League swipe, which we don't know how competitive that will be, but it's still like a mobile title for the PC variant. And then also we've got it with Apex Legends as well, who are also looking to have a dedicated mobile game. So we're starting to see a lot of these publishers now get into the mobile space. We've seen it being massively successful with PUBG Mobile. Obviously, Free Fire has recently just broke the record, I believe, for like 5 million peak viewers. I believe that was like around the figure of that, which is huge. So it shows that there is viewership there for mobile esports. There is really not much information regarding the fact that they are doing it, but I think it's really exciting, and I think it kind of shows the growth of mobile esports and the mobile esports ecosystem as a whole. One thing that we have seen more and more within the esports space is traditional sports integration, and this story is no different, as Chelsea Football Club and England midfielder Mason Mount has been appointed as an official brand ambassador for Combat Gaming. Now, according to release, Mason Mount will host Combat Gaming's new gaming show series, which is set to air on Sky UK Broadband during the summer of 2021. Mount will also compete on Combat Gaming's celebrity gaming events, which sees celebrities go up against each other across a range of different titles, such as FIFA, Call of Duty, and Fortnite. Now, we've seen kind of celebrity integration within esports come into the forefront for quite a few times now, whether it be through ambassadorial roles or through the creation of certain events, such as what Combat Gaming have been doing alongside, I would say, like another one off the top of my head is like celebrity esports. And I think it's about driving driving people and driving kind of that mainstream audience into esports and popularizing it within a casual audience who will sit down and watch TV, or they'll watch something on YouTube which can kind of relate to that. Overall, with these ambassadorial appointments, it's all about how much the person appointed is willing to kind of invest in the project. Now, it does help the fact that Mount has already participated in 3 combat gaming events already, so it kind of shows that he already has a willingness for the project which Combat Gaming are pushing. So I do feel that this could be a very successful appointment, but only time will tell, and I think it would be really nice to see how viewership changes with these events in the near future. A penultimate story of the ESI Digest sees us talk about Team Liquid and Alienware and the launch of their new social platform, GRID in Gaming. Now, according to the release, the new platform will focus on 4 pillars, which is grow, learn, get equipped, and compete, with each section having its own dedicated activations. Now, some of the activations that have already been announced through this program includes an Alienware and Team Liquid paid internship program, a GRID in Gaming scholarship program, and the introduction of the Alienware Tournament Series. Regarding the Alienware Tournament Series, it is open to all gamers of all levels aged 13 and above, with the first tournament kicking off on June 10th with Fortnite. The first tournament has a max of 1,000 weekly competitors for each regions, and the regions which will be able to compete within the Alienware Tournament Series include North America, Europe, Brazil, Australia, and New Zealand. Moreover, as well as competing for prizes such as like cash and peripherals and equipment, if you are age 17, you also become eligible for the GRID in Gaming scholarship and mentorship programs. Also included within the GRID in Gaming platform are 2 new content series, with the first being called Liquid Mastery. Now, this one is expected to look at practical tips to provide fans with, and also to explore esports business in what they've called an educational and entertaining format. The second series will also be like a mini-series which follows Liquid players and leadership as they discuss their own journeys in the sector as well. Overall, I do think that anything which can provide extra development, whether it be teaching people about esports business or providing more of a competitive tournament for all age groups, and even having internship programs and scholarships, can be nothing but good for the esports industry. I think it is all about how it is applied and how effective it will be to see the success of this. But I do think that the overall idea of GRID in Gaming is great, and it continues this strong relationship that Alienware of Team Liquid have had for now over 10 years, I believe. A final story of the ESI Digest sees us talk about investments, and Chinese esports solution provider VSPN, which is Versus Programming Network, has announced a multi-million Series B funding round from an investment fund managed by Morgan Stanley Private Equity Asia. Now, the investment, which has surprisingly not been revealed, is expected to aid the expansion of VSPN's overseas business and the development of the company's esports content matrix, VSPN+. I do think that this story is very interesting on 2 fronts. The first being the fact that they have not disclosed what the multi-million investment round would be, when we have seen the likes of, I believe that they had like a $60 million Series B investment round like earlier this year. So it's very interesting to see them not kind of disclose the exact figures, and I don't really know the reasoning behind that. But we've also seen kind of a lot of investment go into VSPN, and this is no different. We've also seen them acquire loads of different companies like Fromule and Banana Culture. There's been quite a few others as well, and it is really a part of this like buy local, think global initiative that VSPN seem to be having. We have yet to kind of see where this investment is going right now, but we can probably expect to see it in the next couple of years. But I'm really interested, and I think the push on VSPN Plus is also quite intriguing. So I do think, I keep saying it every single time, but maybe VSPN is kind of one of those companies which you should be keeping an eye on. And that is it for this week's ESI Digest. Thank you once again to data platform GRID for sponsoring this episode. If you do want to catch up on all of the stories that I have discussed, or even more stories which have occurred as well, head over to Esports Insider's website. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. And also, if you do want to follow me, I am at the Tom Daniels on Twitter. But